Okay, we're back on the air now, so y'all can try again. There is a new link called Take-2 posted on the Stunt Hanger channel. I'm double checking to make sure it was properly posted, and yeah, it's up. So the new links are up. The chat box is up. My YouTube channel is muted and stopped and minimized. So okay, let's see. Let's see what we got here. See if we can go again. And we're back down to one viewer. We had a bunch of them pile in a minute ago. We had technical difficulties. So hopefully everybody that was here will come back. We had some YouTube watchers, and we had Bob, and we had Sparky. And here comes. Okay, here's Bob again. Hopefully feedback free.
Wow, that was incredible, whatever that was.
Well, it sure was. It just kept looping and looping. And so I hope everybody can find us. I posted a new link back over on Stunt Hanger for the.
Well, it's appropriate for a control line stunt forum to do looping, you know.
It was doing more than triple loops. I don't know what was going on there. It must have been it must have had a hidden page open on my side, because when you went away first, it cleared up, and Sparky came on about the time you left, and then it started back up when Sparky showed up. So looks like we're good now. So anyway, well, all of my
will be along in a minute. He said he'd come right back on.
Okay. Yeah, well, all of my intros blown, but we'll just wing it from here. But
yeah, nice little private chat there for a while.
Yeah.
Offline.
Ron Hass just joined us. Good evening, Ron. Welcome to the show. And I had a pretty good weekend. Had 2 modeling days. First day was Saturday, and Triple Tree. We had a great meeting turnout, and I actually did some circle turning, and that was nice. It's always good to get the handle back in my hand.
Did you fly that Super Satan?
Oh no, I'm not quite up to that yet, but I can fly at 55 miles an hour. I did not do anything that involved going straight overhead. I did some inside and outside loops, some lazy eights, kind of a half high wing over, and I did some inverted flight. And Wayne was out there in case he needed to catch me if I was to start stumbling or need to hand off. I flew the whole tank out though, and it was great. It was the first time I've flown that particular plane. It was one of his design, kind of a stunt trainer, and one that can take a lick and not get too busted up. So a good one for me to start back with. I brought it home with me too, so I can take it out to the field and see if I can polish up my game a little. Looking at my footwork, it was awful, but it usually is when I'm just walking around. But we'll see how that goes. October's still a few weeks away, and maybe. Hey, Gerald, welcome. How you doing tonight? I'm glad you found us after we got through our technical difficulties.
Do you know what caused it, or any idea what went? Any idea what
went? I don't know what it was. It was like somebody had a YouTube page open in the background. Only it was apparently coming from my end. And when somebody else would sign on, all of a sudden I would start hearing everything, you know, twice and 3 times, and it just kept piling on itself. And then so we just got the whole show down, and I restarted a new one. As you saw, I got a new thread in Stunt Hanger now, so everybody can hopefully find it. But we were getting a pretty good crowd coming in, so we got 4 viewers now. I see Ron Hass, Jack Snavely on here, and you and Bob on. And Sparky was on a minute before we shut off, so he'll probably be back.
So these technical difficulties happen.
That was odd. I think it had some windows going on in the background that were repeating, even though I had closed everything that could do it on my end. But I didn't have time to reboot the computer before I started tonight. And when you're doing video stuff, it's always a good idea to reboot before you start doing anything serious, and that, you know, that allows for something to be open in the background silently, or not so silently in this case. But I was just telling Bob I got out to Triple Tree for the meeting and flew a plane this weekend, and got in the shop on Sunday and actually got wood on the table and started working on the Cardinal wing. So I officially am back in the building business, and looking forward to carrying on with that. I'm also sore as hell, but it's a good kind of sore. I guess I got it from doing something I like doing, and feels like all muscles. So we're in good shape.
How did you manage circulating around the circle? Did you find it bearable, or?
I did okay. I looked at my footwork in the video, and it's pretty rough. You can see I'm limping in favoring one leg, but Wayne was out there with me in case he needed to catch me in a fall or take the handle from me, and neither one of those events proved necessary. So I did okay. It didn't hurt. I just don't have any balance. I was not able to do anything directly overhead. I wanted to try it, so I did, you know, kind of a half-high wing over, and I could tell that I just needed to stop right there, and stuck with lazy eights, inverted some inside and outside loops, and just I ran the tank out, and so it was a pretty good flight. I was ready for that tank to run out of gas when it got finished, though. But yeah, I think there's hope for the old boy yet.
That sounds good. Yeah, that's excellent.
Did you do any flying this weekend?
Oh, Bob or me?
I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, here we got
How about you? Hi, Sparky.
Hi, Sparky. Yeah, I went up with the boys and we flew, and my wife flew. She helped her sister-in-law do a few laps. She did a bit of flying as well, and the boys had to go doing some combat together. I thought to keep them engaged and enjoying flying and help them learn some confidence, I'll get them flying a combat model each. So I had them on two Showmans, which were like little stunt trainers, and they demolished them in short order. Hi, Charles.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Charles.
And then swapped over to a couple of combat models after that, and they had a whale of a time. It was good, but we have a limited envelope. We try and do all our flying in the morning and then head off for lunch, and we were rushing off to lunch, and I had all these diesel models, and I'd chucked them in the back of the car. I had emptied the tanks, and we were driving up to Wendy's, and we were almost collapsing with the smell of all the ether. The ether was just filled up the cab with the fumes were so bad, and I just said, let's go in, and I'll come out after when you're eating lunch, and I'll try and empty out all the tanks. When we got home, all our clothes stunk of ether. I washed everything, and it still stunk of ether, and my wife's car still stinks of ether 3 days later. The diesel fuel just really permeates.
Was there enough ether floating in the air in the car to possibly put you to sleep?
That's what we were worried about. my wife put them down the windows, and when we pulled in, I just thought, I've got to clean the car out and try and get all the ether out there. I can all the fuel out, because I didn't empty the tanks. The models were standing on their noses, and it must have run. It was good fun, but yeah, flying diesels does have that element. You end up smelling like the fuel. It's great fun for the experience, and a lot of people say they love the smell, but that was a bit too much smell.
I'd rather love the smell of glow fuel, I think.
I like the smell of batteries.
You got to get real close to them to smell them.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, I had a bit of an incident with batteries. I remember I was re-watching the part of the video I couldn't watch last week, and you were talking, Bob, about using weights, using your foam-coated bricks for weighting down. Yeah. And I was thinking, oh yeah, I did that with my old batteries, but the problem is I got my old nickel hydride batteries, and I weighted all my Viking down when I was building it, and I came back a couple of days later and they'd all leaked.
Oh my gosh.
The electrolyte over all my construction. I was like, oh no, you couldn't get it off. You couldn't. It was eating. It was destroying the wood. So I had to go and cut out pieces of my model and replace the wood. And never again will I use old batteries like that to They weight models down.
Wow.
It was a mistake for a newcomer.
I just came on to say hello. I got to go to sleep. I'm really beat. I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, but I posted the Roger Wildman memorial video.
I saw it today.
Yeah, I saw that notification. I hadn't looked at it yet.
That Stearman was something.
I had to take that one down because they gave me a copyright strike on the video, the first 30 seconds of the video.
Oh, the intro thing?
Yeah, the planets.
Yeah.
And I bought that stuff from Video Blocks, and I sent them a note, and they said, well, sometimes that happens. I mean, why am I buying it if you're not going to defend me?
Yeah, that's silly.
So I re-uploaded it. I just posted it probably 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Did you see Roger go the big when it says tight lines, Roger?
Yeah.
He now lives at the field.
Yeah.
That big puff of smoke was Roger.
Oh.
That's not the first stunt flyer who has been scattered amongst those corn stalks or soybean plants. There's a number of them out there, actually. He's in good company.
Yeah. That's the rest, yeah.
I understand that there's little nobblers growing up all around there because some of George's ashes were thrown out there. And Freddie Miles, I sprinkled some of his ashes out there, without permission, but that's okay,
No, we're not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, Steve's coming too, so hi, Steve.
What are they going to do to us?
Yeah, right.
Go and collect them? You can't do that. So,
That's funny.
Only kidding. Only kidding.
Just thought about doing it. But.
Yeah.
Wish I would have done it.
Steve, how you doing tonight? What you been up to?
Sweat my butt off, but today at work.
We actually had pretty nice weather over the weekend here, but it's hot again now.
Hold on 1 second. I got my cell phone going off.
It is hot here, too.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Sparky.
Nice park.
Sleep tight. How about you, Charles? Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Not really. But I actually pulled down my. I had a Rodak Vector that I competed with. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. My first competition, I took out a Vector Rodak Vector R, and in the second round, I was taken off, and it kept nosing over. And so I took it my last attempt. It nosed over. Finally, get to the plane. I see that the flaps are moving, but not the elevators.
Oh.
So I actually finally got in there this weekend. Discovered, I should have brought it upstairs, but I have a threaded insert coming out of a carbon fiber shaft rod, and only about a quarter of an inch of thread is sticking out, and then the rest of the thread was inside the ball link. It broke.
Oh.
The bolt broke.
The threaded insert, the actual metal broke.
Wow.
But I was in a hurry. I built that. I used all the parts that came in the kit, so it's my own fault. I assumed the inserts were good, but obviously they weren't good inserts.
Yeah.
They were made in wherever the cheapest provider could make them for out there in China.
Made out of Chinesium, as they say.
Magnesium.
I had a thread like that, but it was a removal. They used brass. I could have used stainless.
I didn't understand what you said.
That audio was pretty broken.
A threaded insert. Me and my brother had one break, but we used a brass insert, brass threaded rod, and that was our mistake. The brass didn't last very many flights at all, but stainless steel, I presume. 440 stainless steel. Yeah,
I have some from Tom Morris. He has titanium.
Yeah, that's what I use. I think he gets those from Central Hobbies.
Okay.
Yeah, titanium's pretty tough stuff. But
Every time I want to buy something, I find out it's made of unobtainium.
Very good.
Can I get that? Nope. Damn shit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rained. We had one hell of a storm here, and a lot of people lost power. We didn't lose power this time, but stuff was flooded, and my brother works for the city, and I guess they had a bunch of construction areas that undermined the sidewalks and everything else. It just tore shit up around here. So much rain. But I heard like 3 inches, but I don't know how much we got. But you can see where stuff even in my yard between the grass, it even kind of moved a little bit of dirt. Not bad, but there had to be a lot of rain to.
sounds like more than 3 inches worth.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a rain in here.
I wish I'd taken more pictures Saturday. It was such a beautiful day, and out at Triple Tree, it just never fails to amaze me at how beautiful that place is, how well kept, and that they're always adding something new out there. And it's just such a gorgeous place to go. And I don't get to go but a few times every year, but it was a great place to have a club meeting, and we had a great turnout too.
Well, there's something about that though, isn't it? It's not opened every day or whatever. It's only open.
It's open on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I don't know the hours for anybody to come out and fly either control line or RC, whatever your preference is. And they're building a new education center, and we're asking for donations. And so I filled up a couple of boxes full of architectural tools that I had spares of, some divider calipers and rulers and compasses and protractors and any kind of circles and shapes. And then I threw in anything else I could. I made some sanding blocks and just all kinds of stuff I didn't need extras of, and took it out there to donate. I had some purple monocoat that I'm pretty sure I'll never use. Somebody who was pretty sure they'd never use it gave it to me, and I've passed it along.
Yeah.
You should have gave that to Samantha. It have got all used up.
Yeah. That's all right. We had a close by urgent demand for modeling supplies, so I let the Triple Tree folks have it. Mr. Paddle put it to good use.
Yeah, hopefully it'd be a girl there. The girls will use it up.
Yeah, we'll take anybody we can get in the youth department at this point in the game.
Yeah.
I didn't get to tour the new education center because I had forgotten. I brought all that stuff until it was time to leave, and I think they were all organizing a ride up to the education center to show it off. But I was out of there. It was time for me to go. But had a great day.
Yeah, I guess the Muncie deal though was windy. They said
Christian model.
Yeah, Jeff, and he said they threw darts to see who won the first day.
Mm-hmm. Who won the contest? Who won the contest?
I don't know. Jeff never said. I was talking to him, and he said he had to go. He's going to call me back, and I never heard from him. But he said that he flew pretty good. He didn't win or anything, but he thought he flew pretty good, and he said it was a lot of fun, even though they didn't get to fly it all Saturday. But yeah, we had bad. I mean, just winds up crazy here Saturday.
Was Sunday better?
I guess it was really windy. They still flew, but he said the wind was something the whole day. But yeah, that front came through, and that's where we got all the rain and bad weather here was from that. And it started Saturday morning with a little bit of rain and plus a lot of wind, and it stayed windy for all the way until this morning. We're supposed to have another storm coming through tonight sometime.
Wow.
autumn storms, or just a cyclone or something going through?
We just got weird weather here this year. I mean, we're in a drought. I don't think we're in a drought anymore from raining on Saturday and then raining last night. And if it's going to rain again tomorrow, that we won't be in a kind of a drought anymore. But I mowed my yard before I went to France, and I still haven't mowed. It's so burnt up.
Wow.
So it's been 6 weeks, and I haven't even had to mow, which really isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not big on yard work anyway. So.
Thing about a drought is, though, when it gets so dry after a while, when it does rain, the water won't soak in. It just pools up on top and either floods things or runs off into the rivers and causes them to rise, but doesn't really soak into the ground or get to the water table.
Well, I think that the rain on Saturday actually put some moisture back in the ground, because it rained, but it didn't rain that hard. It was just like a nice, not really heavier than a mist.
Yeah.
But it was just a real light rain for hours.
That's nice to have. That's how you bust a drought, is to get just long, steady periods of rain.
Yeah, soaking rain.
Yeah, a nice soaking rain, and then it let loose yesterday. So I think if it wouldn't have rained Saturday like that, that there'd have been a whole lot more damage to stuff, because like you said, the farmers' fields and everything were just completely dried out. I thought we'd have a really crappy corn harvest and stuff like that, but that later Saturday night I was out, and all the leaves on the corn and stuff had opened back up. They were all just like rolled up in the leaves will roll up around, trying to save, what moisture they can or whatever it does, but they were all open back up, and maybe it'll help the farmers out on their yields.
I hope so. Our peaches have been just excellent this year. It's been a long time since we've had any, and they're the size of softballs. And this is right now the season for the cling-free peaches, where the pits don't stick to the inside of the peach. So you can cut all the way around it and twist the two halves, and they come out, and the pit falls off.
Oh, is that what cling-free means? I had no idea. I've heard of that before, and I'm like, what, it doesn't stick to your shirt? Or
those are the kind of peaches where you got to lean over the sink and eat them, or else you'll have peach juice running down your chest, So, but they're so sweet, you don't have to. You can slice them up and don't have to put sugar on them or anything. They're just wonderful, and I'm so happy because I love peaches, but it's been a long time since we've had that quality. We always get a late frost or something that screws everything up.
Yeah, I got no peaches again this year. That tree's been in for 8 years, and I only got peaches 1 year, because we always get a late frost, and it always kills off the baby peaches or the butt or the flowers or whatever.
Is it? I don't know about peach trees, but a lot of plants rely on cross pollination, so they won't pollinate themselves. So if you're getting little fruits on them, though, I guess they must be pollinating.
Yeah, there's apple trees and stuff. I don't know if that helps or what, but there's always bees around there and stuff like that, but I don't know.
You'd think that we would be planting balsa trees.
Yeah.
You'd think, yeah. It takes a pretty warm, wet climate for that, though. I don't know if we've got that anywhere in the U.S.
But then you get up in the morning and you go out there and find out that some control line modeler stole your trees. Shit.
Yeah.
Chopping tree down in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Hey, look, we got wingtips. We got wingtips on the trees. Him cowling.
Yeah, hybridize them to grow airplane parts. They're doing that with human organs now.
Yeah.
Genetic engineered airplanes.
We've had the wettest summer we've had in my memory. We've had 20, 30 inches of rain over the last couple of months. What happened was the jet stream dipped down into the Gulf, and normally the weather goes west to east, and now it's coming south to north.
Yeah.
And we're getting tremendous amounts of rain.
Yeah, see, all of our weather is coming out of like Arizona and shit like that, where there ain't no moisture.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, like you said, it moved over to where your guys are getting it all out of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if it stays like that, we'll probably have a mild winter. It'll be a wet winter, but it'll probably be a mild winter because all the the hot weather coming up from the Gulf.
Yeah, I seen today that they had it on the TV that you guys were supposed to have a warmer than normal wet winter, which means probably heavy wet snow every once in a while, and we're supposed to have a warmer than normal light precipitation or something. They still don't think it's going to change to where we're going to get much moisture.
Well,
but that'll hurt the farmers because they loved all that snow melting into the ground and putting all the water back in the ground before they plant. But
I think we got plenty of water now, so I don't think we're going to worry about it. You guys need it, but we don't.
Yeah.
You guys out in California need it, huh, Charles?
Yeah, we do.
Well, it's crazy because I remember back, and it must have been 20 years ago or so, when it got so dry here, and they were hauling hay and stuff up from Florida and Georgia and stuff like that. They're giving it to the farmers up here to feed their animals. That was like 10 years later. We were hauling hay and stuff back to Georgia and Florida because they had a drought. They're kind of out of it now, I guess, but they were hauling stuff down there to animals, and it's like it's just kind of weird weather. You can't really count on what's going on. But
where are you located, Rusty?
Columbia, South Carolina.
You've been probably getting a lot of rain.
No, we've had about a normal summer of afternoon thunder showers, but other than that, nothing unusual. It's been a fairly regular summer for a change.
We're getting all that stuff coming up from the Gulf. It's got to be coming right over you guys.
When you were saying out of the Gulf, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But maybe it's going west of us and skirting the Appalachians up.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up through Tennessee and Ohio and stuff like that.
I do think our upstate on the eastern side of the Appalachian Range has gotten more rain than we have here in the Midlands.
But yeah, I guess it was a mess this summer at the Nats. They're in Muncie. They had so much rain, but I talk to Jeff every once in a while. We get no rain, and he's just talking about, my God, it just don't stop raining here. And I think that's what we've been coming into the upper eastern. Huh?
You're talking to Jeff Traxler?
Yeah, and he lives a little over 150 miles from me.
He lives in Toledo, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a huge difference, and we get nothing, and they're just getting pounded every day and every day.
Wow.
Hey, Eddie, you snuck in on us. I didn't even see you.
Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
Everybody.
Good.
Hadn't been on in a while, so I'd join in.
Welcome to the show.
Eddie, what's your last name?
Suter.
How you doing?
Sutter.
Yeah, they were saying that Lake Michigan was down like 2 inches. Can you imagine how much water that is?
Yeah.
How many millions and millions of gallons that lake is
going to drain Lake Murray by about 10 feet this winter to try to kill off all of the near shore growing grasses and algae and kind of keep the ecosystem up, and so it doesn't clog up boat propellers too. But Lake Murray is a great resource we've got here. It's not only a hydro plant on the dam there, but it supplies some world-class bass fishing too.
I wish they'd let the grass grow here. We're overrun with Asian carp.
Where about you at? There must be on the Mississippi.
No, I'm Middle Tennessee, but Tennessee River and the Cumberland River on Kentucky Lake and Barkley, they're full of them.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't use them for cat food and dog food and stuff.
Well, they've been catching them. And they've been bringing in like anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 pounds of fish. There's just so many of them right now that when they They came in a couple of years ago and sprayed the grass on Kentucky Lake and killed it out. And when they did that, that killed the food source for the plankton and the little minnows and stuff like that. And next thing you know, the carp don't have the grass to eat. They're killing off all the plankton, and the shad don't have anything to eat.
They stocked Lake Murray with a couple of thousand grass carp to help keep it down. And I'm guessing they're probably sterile, so they won't reproduce. They'll eat grass and then die out when it's time to raise the water back up.
Yeah, the grass carp, you got your common grass carp. That's so they don't produce like these Asian silver carp do. Those Asian silver carp, they'll jump in the boat with you.
Yeah, I've seen those videos.
They grow. I mean, they can get up to 40, 50 pounds.
Oh my God!
One of them hitting you in the head. I mean, there's been several people hurt.
You got to just build a little cage and make a bunch of noise, and you don't got to get your fishing pole out. Just go up and down the river. They just jump in the damn boat with you. Head on home.
That's my kind of fishing.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine that does bow fishing, and he can go up there and just turn the lights on, and that just irritates the hell out of them, and they just go everywhere. They said they was down there below Barkley Dam one time and had to just lay down on the floor of the pontoon boat to get it, keep from getting knocked over.
Damn,
that's incredible. I've never seen a situation like that.
Check them out on YouTube sometime. Just look up Asian carp.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to keep them out of Lake Michigan because they said if they ever get in Lake Michigan, it's over with.
Hey,
Mike,
Jared.
what's up?
And hey, Mike. We got two new video guys here, Jared Hayes and Mike Lonke.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I actually know Eddie. We've flown together a couple of times. He hadn't been out to the field in a while. Eddie, you been doing anything or?
Well, I'm trying. I actually bought me a new plane, not a new one, but guy in here in Greenbrier on Facebook had one on there, and it's this right here. It's an old Top Flight, I guess. It's got an OS 25 on it. I got it.
Is that a vampire or something?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
I don't know what it is.
Somebody up in Greenbrier, you say?
Yeah, he was right down the road from me, didn't know it, and
looks a bit like a buster. Looks a bit like a buster.
He said what it is. I'll look it up here in just a second, but yeah, he said had it marked for $50 and had it marked down to 30. So I got the plane and 3 more engines. I actually got a Fox 35. And Mike, you'll like this. I got 2 Norvals. I got a 25 and a 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got
that plane bearing 25. That's a good speed limit motor. Actually, I know a couple guys using those on F2D planes for speed limit.
here. This one's radio controlled.
I don't know if anybody can see this.
Hang on, let me click on you so I can find you.
Fire.
Looks like a smoothie.
Who's holding it up?
I got a new roommate. I don't know if you guys know who Scott Molk is, but he's my new roommate. Another stunt flyer here in Omaha.
All right.
Go Stunt.
Hey, man.
Was that a smoothie?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5 years in the making.
Eddie, do you remember Ron Cornelius, meeting him out there? The country music guy?
Hey, Dennis.
With us?
Hey, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
You was cutting out, Mike. What now?
I said, do you remember flying with Ron Cornelius? He flew with me and Steve and the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
His wife passed away the other morning.
Oh,
No,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, they found her dead in the bedroom. She was.
Oh no.
She
She's
played
been
on.
sick?
Yeah, she'd been sick for a while. She got in a bad car accident about 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
she performed on the Grand Ole Opry with him as well.
Wow.
They were both. One of the guys we fly with, he's a legend in country music. He toured with Bob Dylan for 10 years.
What's his name?
His name is Ron Cornelius. He goes by the pen name Robin Bird is what he writes his songs under. But he owns a production company here in Nashville. He's a very unassuming guy in his 70s, but he's a legend in country music in the singer-songwriter circles. He's written hit songs for dozens and dozens of country stars. And he actually... he just published a book about his guitar because he's got like a 1952 Gretsch guitar that's valued at like $300,000. It's like crazy money. But that's the guitar he used his entire life and wrote a lot of these songs on. And he's got his own exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame. It's been up for 2 years right now. Ron Cornelius and his guitar, the man and his guitar. So there's an exhibit there. About him and his book writing, about all the people he's played with and all the songs that he's written for people. But he's a very unassuming guy. We had a sign up at the hobby shop like 15 years ago for control line guys. Come, here's our contact info. And he showed up at our field one day and had some 30-year-old control line planes, and he got back into flying with us. And it wasn't
like me.
It wasn't till he'd been flying with us for 2 or 3 years that he started talking about what he actually did for a living and, that he was in the music industry and all this stuff. And I Googled him and I was like, holy shit, this guy's famous, man. He's famous. He was in Bob Dylan's band for over 10 years, touring with Bob Dylan in the 1970s.
Wow.
Oh, and then, like I said, he's got a production company. He produces people and, a lot of songwriting stuff. He was never like a big name guy on his own, but he's written tons and tons of music that have been recorded by many, many famous country people. So he's a good guy. He just comes out and flies with us. He's a sport flyer. He just kind of bangs around and does his own thing. So, but yeah, anyway, Eddie, I just thought I'd pass that on to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Are they still flying out there at Waltz?
Occasionally. Sam and I got tuned up out there this spring. We went and did a little bit of flying, and then we were on the contest circuit all summer. So
yeah, y'all did pretty good this year, didn't you?
Yeah, we did very well between the Nats and Brodax and the other local regional stuff.
Congratulations. Tell Sam I said happy birthday too.
Yeah. Oh man, I had 20-year-olds over here on Saturday.
How'd that go?
It was pretty good. We had a bounce house and a water slide, and I put the dirt bikes out there. And
72 hot dogs?
Actually, I cooked 48 hot dogs. 6 packs of 8, and then a bunch of fruit, and it was a big day. We had a big day, but nobody got hurt. Nobody went to the hospital.
No stitches.
It ain't having fun if you don't get hurt.
Well, my kids ride dirt bikes. I got a little 50 and then a little mini bike that I let them ride in the backyard all the time. Problem was, all these other kids want to ride, and I'm like, listen, if your mom or dad is here and they're okay with it, you go ahead, But I tell the parents, I'm like, if they break their arm, man, that's on you, not me. I'm not giving lessons, but if you want to give them permission to
watch this,
yeah, you got to take them out there. But they all rode and had a good day. So it was good. And then after the party, the new owner of the Testarossa showed up at about 6 o'clock, I guess. So, and of course, I'd had a few cocktails during the day. And I was tired. I had to clean up from the party and all that. But I opened up the workshop and let the guy in, and we spent about 2.5 hours taking the Testarossa apart and getting it packaged in bubble wrap, wrapping everything up so he could make the journey home with it. He flew his Cirrus into Nashville, and then he's flying home with the airplane. So the airplane had to be disassembled so it would fit in his private plane. So it was quite an ordeal taking that thing apart.
That's Wendy's Testarossa?
Wendy's Testarossa, yeah. I didn't own the plane. I was just transferring it for Paul Taylor to the new owner. But we got it apart without breaking anything, and it's all bubble wrapped up and should be in its new home now. So,
if you want to look at the rerun from Friday night, Mike did a good show and tell on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, look at Friday night show. I had it out here in the shop, and we did some pretty extensive video on it. So
you got your new plane yet, or?
I'm leaving at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm driving up to Kentucky to meet the man and pick up 2 SV-22s.
Cool.
That's the plan.
I just bought back one of my airplanes that I sold to a friend. And
wow.
bought one of my Crossfires back.
Okay.
Now, what's going on here, Mike? You're the crazy combat guy, and you're going into stunt, and I'm the stunt guy, and if you look back there, there's a combat plane.
Yeah, I see that. I like the stealth invisible monocoat you put on there, man. You can only see half the airplane. That was
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't know, man. Jared, I kind of started flying stunt because we were at contests that had it. Phil had it, so I was like, I'm going to start flying it, and I've gotten a little better and moved up, so I'm going to try to get some better equipment if I'm going to keep doing it. I don't mind trying to have better equipment and excel at it a little more. So, yeah, I'm done banging around in intermediate. I moved up to advanced.
Hey, Bob, you still have one of your Caprices left or not?
No, I sold the Caprice to Keith Ferguson. He flew it for quite a while, and he crashed it.
No.
Is that the one that you flew at VSC all the time?
Yeah, I won 5 VSCs with that thing.
Wow.
And
Who
three
did they call that, the Brown Dog or something?
No, the Bronze Dog was the Saturn.
Oh, that was a Saturn. Oh, okay. I know it's one of your.
Hard to tell one of my bronze airplanes from another, you know.
Well, I just remembered you won a lot of stuff with that, and
yeah, it was a good airplane.
And they call it the Bronze Dog.
If I ever brought it back there again, they were going to hang me and burn it.
Hey, Bob, do you still have the bronze colored Crossfire, or is that maybe the one you got back, or you would have had?
Bronze Crossfire. Well, that one was damaged at the 2011 Nationals when a Dust Devil picked it up and threw it down. And Brett Buck and I put it back together, and I missed qualifying in the top 5 by half a point. So what I did was I was going to just use it as a test bed. I glued it back together. I was going to use it as a test bed, and then on Easter morning in 2012, I decided to completely rebuild it. So I went downstairs and stripped it all down and put a new top and bottom block on it and completely revamped it, and ended up placing 3rd at the Nats with that year. So it was a worthwhile rebuild. But then when I rebuilt it, I didn't paint it bronze. I painted it red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I posted my dad had a photo album he took at the Lincoln Nats back in the early '80s.
Oh, that one, yeah, that's an old one.
And that was one of the pictures that I posted of that on Stunt. That's probably,
yeah, I remember seeing those pictures. That was nice. Posting them.
Yeah, and I mean, man, when I was a kid growing up, I'd be flipping through that album, and that was always probably one of my most favorite planes was that bronze-colored Crossfire.
That was the old bronze Crossfire. Yeah, that was ancient history. I had another one later on.
So what happened to that one then?
That's the one that got picked up by the new one got picked up by the Dust Devil, and broke in half, and we fixed it and rebuilt it, and now it's red, white, and blue.
That's the one you got back, Bob?
Yeah, that's the one I got back.
That's cool.
The tricycle gear one I sold to what's the name? Tom Smeltzer, and he's using it at the Nats now in advance without appearance point.
Okay.
He doesn't want to sell that one back, so that's okay.
Well, you don't got to worry about them getting oil soaked or anything.
That's true. The thing is still pristine. And the guy who bought the red, white, and blue one, he didn't even fly it. He just hung it on the wall. He said, I knew you were going to want this back, so I just kept it for you. So,
So I'm going to interrupt here for a second. Jared, how was your speed limit contest in Fargo?
It was actually pretty good. That was, I went to Polk City last year. And I think I flew 2 rounds of combat and pretty much didn't know what the heck I was doing. So then Fargo was the first time that I flew, entered and was going to, give it a go. And I made it through all 5 matches with one plane, amazingly.
Wow.
What events were you flying?
I flew speed limit combat, and then I flew precision aerobatics and classic stunt.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then
that slow rat.
and then the slow
Fargo rule slow rat race where you had to pit 2 times with the airplane in a 10-minute time window.
Yeah, flew that and balloon bus, but combat went pretty good up there. And then I went to Polk City again a week ago, or was it 2 weeks ago now? And flew in the slow combat there. First match, I did okay. Second match, I think I mid-aired Bob Nelson, and his plane just absolutely turned to dust. And complete screw up on my part. I was trying to come over top of him and dive behind him, but my plane was going a lot faster than his, and I just totally misjudged it and totally bell cranked him.
Well, you should have been going faster.
Yeah. And then the next flight, I flew against Bob Baldas, and I was coming in behind him like this, and he pulled up right in front of me, and we collided again and destroyed his plane and ripped the wing off of mine, but mine kept going. And so then I was down to my third and final combat, and I made it through the last 2 matches with that. I was tied for first with Jeff Johnson, and Jeff Johnson had more cuts than I did, so he got the won by the tiebreaker. But it was a lot of fun.
It is fun, isn't it?
So I've got them all repaired, and I'm going to try to go to Kansas City here at the end of next month.
there's that Crossfire.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful. Wow,
That's
beautiful.
the one you got now, Bob?
Yeah, that's the one I got back. Just to have something to fly until I got my new one. I just designed a new one. It's not called a Crossfire, though. It's called Easy Wind.
Now, is that electric or?
Oh, yeah. Everything since 2005 has been electric.
So then what happened to the one you had at the 80s Nats in Lincoln?
I sold that to Ron Harding up in Massachusetts. And I think he sold it to someone else. And a bunch of guys up there got together and were flying it for a while. I don't know if the airplane still exists or not.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good airplane. Had an OPS in it. That was the very first dedicated tune pipe stunt airplane.
I think I remember reading that.
Didn't you end up pulling the OPS and going to OS?
Not in that airplane.
Oh, not in that one. It was
No,
a different
I went from OPS to PA-40s in the Saturn, and then I went to the PA-51. That's the largest glow engine I ever ran in aerobatics was a 51.
Oh, no kidding.
And I never had a 61 or a 65 or a 75.
Well, how about
My wife invited her brother out to see us at our club meeting at Triple Tree, and he lives in that area and has never seen a control line plane fly before. So we figured, he might enjoy seeing what we do. And he came at just the perfect time. We had a couple of speed limit combat matches. He got to see some good chase and cuts, and he got to see a speed. I don't know which kind of speed plane it is. David Smith just flew it solo, but it was about 100-mile-an-hour plane.
Yeah, Perky.
I guess that's what it was.
He had a Perky. He was flying Perky postal speed.
So this new airplane, Bob, is it going to be? You going to cut it down a little less wing area and stuff?
It's going to be about 620, about 625, 630. It's all inline. Everything's inline. Tricycle landing gear, because when I had the trike geared Crossfire, I was getting 40s on takeoffs and landings by the bushel. So the little light went on. I said, tricycle gear is a good thing.
Yeah.
And it saves props, you know, and you can take off anywhere on the circle you want. So it's going to be inline. It's got a swept forward trailing edge, just like all the Crossfires did. And it's got that new control system that Joe Daly and I designed together in it. So,
what is that? Is that kind of like one of them exponential ones, or?
No, it's actually the push rod runs above the wing. The bell crank is inside the wing, and then there's a post, and on the top of the post is outside the wing, and there's a tiller arm on it, and the push rod connects from the bell crank to the flap horn, parallel to the center line of the wing. So there's no nonlinear motion in there. When you have that push rod coming out at an angle, it causes all kinds of you know, things in the control system geometry. So, but a byproduct of that is that we can put a slot in that tiller arm, and since I have a jet style airplane and the canopy comes off, I can get back to where the bell crank is. We can adjust the speed of the control system by moving the point at which the push rod from the bell crank to the flap horn attaches to the bell crank. So we can move that in or out and adjust the speed of the system. So now we can have a system speed. We have push rod adjustment for neutraling the flaps in the elevators, and also adjustable ratio, flap elevator ratio. So it's kind of a nice adjustable system.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you're doing just like the adjustable push rod in the elevator, but it's
we have one on the elevator and also one on the bell crank.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to have? Is it just going to be standard trike gear, or are you doing retracts?
No retracts on this, just the standard trike gear. I think I got the retract thing out of my system. You know, again, it's like everybody says, "Oh, I love it when they go up." I said, "Yeah, well, I love it when they come down." You know, so
yeah. Well, you're saying though that cut off so much battery usage and all that kind of stuff.
25%. We did the test flight when we first got the test bed twin flying. We flew it with a 4S 4000, and we came back and charged it up, and we put in 2,400 milliamps. And then we retracted the landing gear on the next flight. When we recharged the battery, we put in 1,800. So it's 25% less battery usage with the landing gear, with the gear up. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, it is.
How did you have those gears set up to retract and then come back?
With the electric, it's free. You get it with the human system. He has a retract plug-in. You just plug them in, and you set it up on your prog box, and they just go up when you want them to, and they come down when you want them to. It's really cheating.
But is it like a timer type deal, or is it like when your motor burps?
It's a timer deal, yeah. Okay. But if I did it again, since we're allowed to use 2.4 gig radios now for both electric and glow, you know, to shut them off and to retract and extend gear, I'd probably do it that way if I did it again.
Weight-wise, what was is there
a penalty?
Is there a weight difference between the 2.4 radio in the plane, or?
Well, yeah, but it amounts to just a few grams, because those receivers are so tiny, you know, that they almost weigh nothing. And you could probably put it in the outboard wing for some tip weight if you wanted to. You still have to have more. They're so light; they just weigh a few grams.
And they're so small now. It's not like the old receivers we used back in the '80s that were
tiny,
the size of a cigarette box.
Yeah, they're like. I mean, I guess they're about 3/4 inch square, and they're only about maybe an 18 inch high. They're tiny.
Not the size of a Zippo lighter.
Yeah, the new ones are like a third of the size of a Zippo lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with running it on a timer or running it with radio, is there a big weight difference between the two?
No, like I said, there wouldn't be much of a, you know, you have the receiver weight, yeah, but I don't think that's a significant amount of weight. The thing is, you know, that with the lower drag, the airplane feels like it flies like it's 20 ounces lighter. There's no drag, and that's kind of like just making them lighter. The airplane doesn't sag in corners or anything. And you ever have a ringmaster with landing gear on it?
Yeah.
All right, and you flew it without the landing gear?
Yeah.
How much better did it fly?
A lot.
There you go.
So with you know, like a landing gear block and all that kind of stuff, Was there much different in weight over the retracts over?
No, not really. The actual landing gear mount was, I would say, it was a wash between that and a standard fixed gear. The landing gear itself was a little more weight, but it wasn't significant, you know. I mean, I would do it again on a twin, but I wouldn't do it on a standard configuration airplane, because if you fold them in like you're doing a Mustang, like they fold in like this, the problem is you can't get a gear door to mate up to the wing perfectly. Right. And if you're doing an inside maneuver, the weight of the wheels themselves, inertia will actually pull the struts down out of the wing, unless you have a locking mechanism, and that's more weight too. So Paul Walker tried it, and he discarded it for standard airplanes that fold in because of that. It was disturbing the airfoil, and it was hard to land, and you could feel the difference in the way the airplane flew. But the twin, they went like this. The mains went forward into the nacelles, and the nose gear went back. So they weren't disturbing airflow. And it works fine on a tricycle landing gear twin, but I don't think I'd try it on a conventional airplane.
Well, what we did a long time ago in RC Pattern is that we had everything go back. The nose gear and the two mains come back. And then there was just a little bit of it. There was a little bit of a tunnel, you know, for the wire to clear. That
would work. That would work.
And then half of the wheel went up into the wing. We had we made little fiberglass deals, and it fit right in between the rib.
Harold Price had an airplane called the Crusader back in the early 60s, had retracts in it. And they did that. They swung back. It wouldn't disturb the airfoil. So, yeah, if you're going to go straight back like a P40 or something, you know, fold them. That's how Rick Huff does his. They fold straight back, and then the wheels rotate 90 degrees and go up into wells, and it works pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that the only problem we had with the old retracts is that sometimes you didn't get a positive lock.
Yeah.
So when you landed, the damn retracts would, you know, that's why they put them in, you know, forward. They'd lock to the back. But so yeah, we had problems.
I think also the thing I'm not crazy about is the E-Flight retracts we're using. They're not real high quality. You know, it's kind of a gimmick thing. And if I were to do it again, I would probably design my own retracts with little toggle over center locks, and just use push rods and one little tiny servo. I think it would be lighter, and it would be positive.
I have a set of retracts. I don't remember the name of them, but they operate on a servo that will lock them down, and also when you pull them up, they will lock them up as well.
Yeah, there's a toggle lock. It's what they call a toggle. It's an over-center lock. There's a number of them that are designed like that. The Robart had a real nice little half-A retract that would have worked for us. B&Ds, there's a number of them that were built. But the problem is, you know, very few people are building retracts anymore that are small retracts. They're building it for scale airplanes. The radio control community has kind of discarded retracts. Now they want drag because they have to stay inside a box, you know, that arresty box. So they want drag, so they're using fixed gear, and very few people are using retracts and pattern anymore. So they just kind of went away, you know.
Yeah.
How popular are retracts in Stunt?
Very few. I mean, there's been a few guys. Frank McMillan's flown one. Frankie Embriaco, Rick Huff, myself. I think. Well, there's been 2 or 3 more over the years, but not a whole lot. Will Davis, not Will Davis, John Davis had one years ago, but not a whole lot of them, you know. Oh, Sam Nibel down from Florida in senior, he had one a couple of years ago. It flew pretty well.
Now, have people build an airplane with standard gears and build the same airplane with retracts, and then have they said the standard gear, the non-retract airplane flew better than the one with the gears?
Well, I can only go from personal experience. When I first wanted to do this was back in '75. I decided I was going to build a retract Genesis for the '76 Nationals. And my dad was an automation engineer, so he designed me our own retracts. They were like, hyper light, and they were very strong, little over center lock things. And back then, we were going to use a bimetal switch in the muffler. So as soon as you start the engine, the bimetal would make, and it would say to circuit gear up. So what you do is you put a little free flight timer in the side of the airplane, and it wouldn't let the circuit make until the free flight timer bottomed. And then, you know, by that time, the airplane was in the air, and long since the bimetal had made, and gear would come up. And at the end of the flight, as soon as the motor shut off, the bimetal would go the other way and the gear would come down. So we had it was operating perfectly. You know, and it was only good for about 4 million operations, he said, so or a year's worth of practice for Werwage. You know, so we were well on our way to putting that system in the airplane when it dawned on me. I said, you know, I've never flown a full-size stunt ship with retracts. And back then, we had engines that would unload in the wind. You know, the two-cycle engines would tend to whip up, you know, do one loop at one speed and continue to whip up. And I said, you know, we may need the drag. So what I did was I took my 75 airplane out, and I took the landing gear out of it. I had my dad hand launch it over some big, tall, soft grass so we wouldn't damage it. And it flew great. I mean, it flew way better than it did with the landing gear down. And we practiced with it for a while, and I said, okay, let's go. And then he said, well, why don't you fly it in some wind? And that's when we decided it's not going to work because the airplane accelerated like a rocket ship, and we couldn't slow it down. But now with the electrics, with the governors, we don't have that problem. So you got built-in governor, it slows it right down.
I noticed on Berger's website, he does a governor for IC engines as well. So you can accelerometer with a servo in your model to slow down your glow engine. I don't know if anybody's done that, but obviously it's something he thought about to make it.
It's perfectly legal too, so, you know.
Yeah, it would be a sort of model to have another go at too, the P-38 Lou McFarlane's one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Hey, I bought some of the other guys may have already seen this, Bob, but I bought a copy of Ted Fancher's Temptation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that very well.
Paul Pomposo out in California built this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty much a carbon copy, and it's set up for an OS 40 VF on a 2.
I think I actually sent him the Lost Phone Cradle set for that thing. Or I remember him ordering one of those years ago.
Say that again?
I think I actually made the wing jig that the wing was built in for that airplane.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he built it in 2000.
Yeah, Paul is a good customer. He's had I've had a lot of orders from him over the years.
Yeah, and then he sold it to Jason Pearson in Illinois, and then Jason got killed in an ultralight.
Oh, wow.
Sorry to hear that.
2.5 years ago. So his wife decided to sell his stuff, so I picked that up.
Well, that's a nice airplane.
And I just got to get a coat of clear on it, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, it looks great.
That's a good flying plane. I've seen it fly up close.
I'll be back just a minute. I gotta let my dog out.
Yeah, I gotta get going. Let mine out too in a minute here. And I gotta get off because tomorrow I'm playing at a gig. My guitar teacher has invited me to come go to his gigs and play some music. So I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. So I'm
yes. I was surprised to see you, Bob.
What's that?
I was surprised to see you. I thought you would be sleeping.
Yeah, I gotta get some sleep.
Hey, Bob, it's good talking with you.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for having us. And
hey, everybody, hey, thanks for your input.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to come on here. You know, it's fun to be back into it. You know, I've been kind of retired for the last couple of years, and playing guitar, you know, very seriously. But the problem is, I had a pinched nerve in my neck from a motorcycle accident I had years ago, and it's affected the blood flow in my left hand, and it's starting to atrophy. So it looks like my guitar playing days are over. At least I can't play more than about 20 minutes at a clip. So I decided to come back to flying a little bit.
So we'll hope to see you more often out there.
Yeah, well, I hope to make it out to a few things, maybe the Nationals eventually, but we have a golden retriever, and I just don't like leaving any animal in a kennel. And
take care of that. We'll see you again on the web then.
What's that?
We'll see you again on this website. So
Yeah. So I'm going to try to see if I can make arrangements for somebody to take care of my dog here at my house, so I could come out to the Nats next year.
Where are you located at now, Bob?
I'm in eastern Pennsylvania, almost on the Delaware River.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used to be in New Jersey, but I moved out.
I got you.
So, well, guys, it's been great. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again on Friday, hopefully.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Good night.
Bob. See you, Bob.
Bye-bye,
Hey.
Charles.
Hey, Jared, what are you thinking about Huntersville this year? You going to make it back out there?
And I want to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to with vacation and my expenses. I bought a house about 1.5 years ago, and money's real tight, so I don't think I'm going to make it this year. But I'm hoping next year I'll be able to come down with my dad again.
Okay, yeah, because you get combat and stunt, so
Yeah.
flying both. And the fall contest typically has a better turnout than the spring contest.
Yeah, it would be the October one or whichever month that is.
Yeah, it's not.
So, but yeah, the start of this year, I was kind of trying to plan for it. But the other thing is, both of my sisters are pregnant, and both of their kids are due in December. And one of them lives in Houston, so I might have to make a run down there with what little vacation time I have left. Oh, probably for next year.
Got you.
a couple of years ago, I was transported a car down to Dallas, Texas, and I took one of my airplanes, and I visit a control line field down there, kind of like northeast side of Dallas. Really nice flying circle.
That's Scobie?
It's just outside of Dallas.
Scobie Field?
No, Scobie's in Houston.
Oh,
Isn't it?
okay.
They had like 3 circles that were really nicely paved.
Yeah.
And nobody was out there. It was beautiful, 70-degree weather, light winds. Like, okay, where's everybody?
Yeah, when we were down there for the world championship deal to try out or whatever, they were showing like where John DeTavio lived. You could see his house from the field. That's how close he lived to it. Go flying every day and stuff down there. But yeah, that's a nice place in that soccer park or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, what do you got behind you there? It's got stripes on the tail.
Oh, that's
Score. Top flight score.
No, that's Samantha's Banshee. That's the one that made the cover of
2016 model airplane news.
Yeah.
Model aviation.
Yeah, that's the one with purple on it. We got another one around here with pink on it. Another one with purple on it. Well, actually, this is purple, pink, and gold. So
It's pretty hideous.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just sitting back. I'm
she
covering
says these guys have no imagination when it comes to painting an airplane.
I'm doing that smooth and feel.
It's hard work.
So,
But there's no mistaking her plane.
Yeah, it's distinctive. I think it stands out. It's quite neat. It's quite different. It's nice to see something different.
Guys, I'm going to bust out of here, man. I got to get my ass up early and schlep up to Kentucky tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
Friday.
Hey, Mike.
So, Tom, what'd you do to your airplane? You're fixing it.
Well, I went out to the flying field.
Mike, give me a call.
Okay.
Oh. See you, Mike.
Would you drop something on the wing?
Okay. Now I'll talk.
All right.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, all right. My best friend was visiting me, and I was flying, and he put a chair leg through it.
Oh yeah, that's been a long time ago.
I know it.
I think you need a new best friend.
Yeah, I know it. He felt really bad. I mean, yeah, it was an accident. It was my fault. I should have never put the plane there.
And you probably shouldn't have had the case of beer along that got you to where you were.
Well, the thing of it is, I quit drinking. You know.
Oh, okay.
Last time I had a drink was 2013.
Oh, wow.
Hey, have you still quit smoking too?
Yep.
Goddamn, you ain't no fun no more at all, Tom.
I know, right? Yeah, November 10th will be the first year.
Wow.
Year one, no nicotine.
No wonder no one wants to hang out with you. You probably give up wine, women, and song, huh?
Yeah.
I don't drink anymore either.
Yeah, me either.
Hank Williams.
I don't drink
all
any
my
less.
rowdy friends have settled down.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
right.
drink any less either.
I got 3 allergies: beer, handcuffs, and fat women.
I quit. I think I quit back in 1990 or 91, something like that.
Wow.
Because I never learned the word moderation until later on in life.
Oh man, I tell you, boy, I got some war stories.
I had a DUI back in 1989, and they sent me to alcohol awareness class. Like I wasn't aware of what alcohol would do to me. You know, I was like, really? I know this already.
Well, that was like the same thing too when I got hit for fleeing and eluding a police officer. They sent me to driver's class. I got away, and I'm like, you need to send him to that school.
Beer, handcuffs, and fat women goes back to the days of college. 7 of us at a bar, and some fat girls hitting on all of us. And boyfriend walks in the picture and starts a fight with all of us. And we're in, those plastic handcuffs that bouncers put you in. And we're on the curb at O Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. And somebody must have had a flyer out, and the crowd was there. And the cop standing next to all of us. My friend starts sneezing, and the cop goes, "What? You got allergies?" He goes, "Yeah, beer, handcuffs, and fat women." Wow, was busting a gut.
So did the plane fly good for you, Tom?
This?
Yeah.
I didn't even get a chance to fly it yet.
Oh.
I started with my other plane first to get a good feel, to get my muscle memory back and make sure that I'm flying good before I started this atrocital thing, And he put the chair leg through it.
Damn. Have you flown that twin? Oh, this is the twin one.
Yeah.
The other was what, a Stuka?
I haven't flown that one yet either.
Oh, okay. How's your dad doing? I guess a lot better. You're home?
Yep. I'm going on the third day. I finally got him to be able to take his own insulin shot now.
Oh, okay.
That was the whole thing of holding everything up, on us, is trying to get him to make sure he can get that shot taken properly.
Why don't they put that little pump in him?
Well, it's I don't know. Part of it might be because of the insurance, but it ended up getting rid of all them fancy EpiPens and stuff. Just got him a plain old hypodermic needle.
Oh, okay.
He can do it himself now. It was great. There's no instructions. There's no thing to push or twist or hold right or correctly or hold for 5 seconds or none of that. Just a whoop.
Can you trust it? Can you trust him to administer it at the right times?
Yeah. You can either be a half hour before or a half hour after.
Well, the instructions that fall under the KISS syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, you've been on for a while and really hadn't had a chance to talk. What's going on with you, man?
Oh, nothing. I'm just listening in.
And just jump in there, Dennis. So we'll talk your ear off.
No, I just got back from a contest this weekend.
Oh, how'd you do?
Very good. I was pleased.
Now, what's your last name, Dennis?
Nunes, N-U-N-E-S.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I was on Stunt Hanger.
Yeah.
Where was that at? I seen that Dane Martin, or is that his name that went?
Yeah, he went. He was from Las Vegas, and he drove in with his wife and flew on Saturday. He couldn't stay for Sunday, and he flew back. Drove back. But yeah, he was out there. He took some pictures. I guess he posted them on Facebook and on Stunt Hanger. But no, I took my Big Blue out. I had to go back and take a look at my flight log. I had 9 flights on it before I got to the contest. Put in a practice flight on Friday, 1 practice flight on Friday, and then flew it in Classic on Saturday, and was able to. And it was advanced and experts all mixed together, and I took a 3rd place.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I thought that was your last name, and I'm like, damn, he's flying good. And I figured it was your new airplane.
Yeah, it flew so well that for advanced, I flew it. I didn't fly my big one. I flew the Gladiator, and it flew really well. And I took.
Did you finish
second in advance?
Yeah, second in advance. Yep.
So who was there in advance Sunday?
I call him my arch enemy now, Lanny Shorts.
Oh yeah, my arch enemy also.
Yeah, first round I was ahead by I think it was 2 points, and he came back on the second round. He took he flew before me. In fact, he was second to last, and I was last on the second round. He did a nose over because the wind picked up. We were flying in about 12 to 50 mile an hour wind, and the plane nosed over. But prior to that, we had a lull between the 2 rounds, and he decided to take a practice flight. And so he took a practice flight, and on his landing, he landed it too hot, and we're on grass, and there's some ruts in the grass, and it busted the landing gear. So he had to go back and do a quick fix, and epoxy the 5-minute epoxy the landing gear back in, got it working, and so on his second official, it nosed over, and so he took an attempt. And so I had to go. So I went and flew my flight. I put in a 501, I think it was, on my flight. And he comes up and does a 505 and a half and beats me out. And he did the same thing to me at the Northwest Regionals. And,
so where was where was this contest held at?
This is in Woodland, which is, what is that? Northwest of Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
It's east of the Bay Area, but we had all the big boys out. Brett Buck, Dave Fitzgerald was there. Jim Aaron, Paul Pimposa.
They don't have the fires. They don't have fires and stuff going on around there.
They don't. No, not in that area. We get all the smoke though.
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty hazy, but it wasn't bad. Beautiful weather. Saturday was absolutely unbelievable. Sunday in the afternoon it got windy on us, but no, it was a very good contest.
So Dennis, did it fly pretty much right off the table, or did you get time for some trim flights and have to adjust a few things?
I had to. I got trim flights. I had to. Well, the first maiden flight, I didn't tape the hinges just to see how it was going to fly, and it flew really well. And so I said, "Oh, let me go tape the hinges. Come on back." And after that, I had to add a 1/4 ounce of tip weight and move the lead outs forward about I think it was about 1/8 of an inch. And that's all the trim I've done. and it just flies so well. It really does. And then in the wind, I hadn't flown it in some heavy wind, and it was bouncing around a little bit on the level flight, but any of the maneuvers, it just plowed right through them really well. I'm so pleased with it that I may just compete with it for the rest of the year, even in advance with it, because it flies so well.
Well, good. What was your reasoning behind moving the lead outs up 1/8 of an inch?
It was yawing a little bit, and I could tell that through the engine run. At the cutoff, and then I could see the landing gear, the outboard gear was back behind the inboard gear just a hair.
Yeah.
And the other thing was I saw it. You see it in the horizontal eights. It has a tendency to flop when you at the intersection when you switch directions.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah, and that was it. And it had been flying really, really well. And I'm really pleased with it.
That's good.
Oh, that's good, man. I'm happy for you.
What was your final weight on that?
I got 18 appearance points out of it.
Oh, very nice. Good. Hey, 2 points from perfect. That's very good. So you mentioned landing shorts. You mentioned Dane. Who else was there in advance?
Oh man, because I think there were 7 of us. Larry Wong was there. Bob Duncan. And those are mostly probably Northern California flyers, but they do head up to the Western Regionals. Sometimes Bob gets down to Madeira. Who else? And I'm going to try and go through the flight order. Jeremy, I can't think of Jeremy's last name. He's one of the local flyers up there. He just moved up to advance. Him and I used to compete in intermediate quite a bit. I can't remember the rest of them.
Okay.
But I think there were 7 of us in advance.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, when you get done gluing that, show us the damage.
Okay.
But this was the first contest. I flew 4 events, and that was a little too much. I flew. They had the classic, they had profile stunt, and then they had what they call stunt 25, which is any plane with a 25 engine in it.
Okay.
So, so Saturday I was wore out. I was toast. In fact, my profile I probably could have won, but I messed up. I left out 2 maneuvers. That's how tired I was.
Wow, that is tired.
Yeah, so I missed the pattern points.
Was one of the maneuvers the hourglass?
Yeah, it was the vertical 8 in the hourglass. For some reason, after the square 8s, I went right into the overhead. Don't ask me why.
I think you were thinking of the beginner.
I don't know. And it was just, I was so frustrated, I just laughed. I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's funny how we have amnesia sometimes when we're flying.
But I was putting it, and the judge told me afterwards I had a good score going too. And then he saw that and he goes, "What is he doing?"
Yeah, it's a double whammy. Yeah, I'm going to brought your score down to just like, man.
I can't remember what I got. A 460, I think it was, something like that on that second flight. With because I did throw in an hourglass after the 4-leaf clover, and I said, well, I got nothing to lose, but I didn't realize I had forgotten the vertical 8. I would have thrown one of them, and then you still get scored on it. I didn't realize that you can still get scored on it, but you just lose pattern points.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
You should have gotten a 0 on it if you didn't try to fly it.
Right. That's what I got on the vertical 8. I got 0. I didn't even attempt it.
Gerald, is your weather getting better now? You're coming into springtime?
Yeah. The weather's improving here, getting a bit warmer. Still can't mow the field though here at home, but where we normally fly, it's well drained, so we've had some good flying sessions there. But yeah, the buds are on the trees now, and the cherry trees blossoming. Some of the poplars and willows are got the leaves out, just starting to come out now. But hopefully you won't get a really wet winter like we've had. It's just been so incredibly wet. It's a bit unusual. It's more tropical than what Auckland normally is. We seem to be getting weather like you get 100 k's north of us.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like, yeah, some of you people are getting really tropical style weather as well. Weird weather patterns where it's very, very wet.
Now, do you get snow there sometimes or not?
Not where we are in Auckland, we don't get snow. You've got to be about a 200 k's south or in a mountainous region. But yeah, go 200 k's south and or 160 k's or whatever miles south, and you'll get snow.
Oh, okay.
Just in those high, there's parts of the island are very, very high elevation, and they're going to get snow. Whereas the sea, those a lot of the towns are all based around ports in New Zealand, and so you don't really
get a lot of rain then, not cold weather and rain.
Yeah, lots of rain, and that's where it's miserable. That's where over winter I just like to pull up the combat models, and it's just the mud. You can't really mow the field and run a good model when you can't mow it. So it's really quite good to have some rough models ready for winter, but I suppose it would be the same for those of you that can't really fly in winter as well for snow reasons or just generally poor weather conditions.
Well, at least look at it this way. You have a lot of time to build airplanes before the weather comes.
Yeah, that's always the one. You just say, yeah, it's the building season or the flying season. Yeah, alternating between them.
Yeah.
Did everybody see those pictures, the results from the Fargo contest?
No. Have they been posted on Stunt Hanger?
There was a guy that took a bunch of professional photos with the Fargo Club, posted them on their Facebook page. I don't know if you guys are on Facebook. But...
Yeah, I'm not.
If they're on Control Line Flying, then I might have seen it. But I hadn't been on there lately. So
yeah, I think they're just on Fargo's page. The Fargo, what do they call it?
Skylarks.
FM Skylarks.
Yeah. We've got a website now. I need to be posting that up in my signature on Stunt Hanger or somewhere like that.
Well, flying up there, their field is really turbulent because a good 60% of the field is surrounded by trees with turbulence.
It's similar to the field there in North Carolina.
And I just recently went to a hard point handle, and with the plane that I'm flying, the SB-11 with the ST-60 in it, it's what Jared says is the difference between flying night and day between the old style handle and the hard point. It really proved itself at Fargo when I was flying there. In the square 8, I lost line tension momentarily as I went and did the outside square, and I was heading straight for the ground, and I lost total line tension, and I stepped back, I pulled down, and I just barely pulled out. But if I was flying with the old style handle, I would have probably been in the ground.
Good save.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of hard point handles, I'm finishing one up that I just made.
There you go. Nice.
I had to. I ran into a problem at the contest. I have a set of lines and handles for each plane, except for the Gladiator that I flew. It uses the same line as my profile. Well, at the contest, they flew the profile and classic at the same time, but in 2 different circles, and I only had 1 set of lines. Made it a little difficult. Yeah.
Yes. A little bit of anxiousness, I bet.
Yeah. So I said, well, when I get home, we're making a new handle and another set of lines.
Very good.
Well, guys, I'm getting off. I got to get up in the morning, so but it was good talking to everybody. I'll see everybody Friday.
All right,
Dave.
Here's the hard point that I use. It's the Fancher design. And then I only have the 1 handle, and I use it for all of my airplanes. And then I have several different lengths of lines, but I only use, I'll use the same set of lines for multiple planes. And then what I did is I got that line clip bender tool from Jim Lee.
Right.
which is
Holy shit, Tom.
There's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage
Yeah.
for that leg going through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of sanding and.
Well, right now it's going to get a little sand job, and then it's going to get some covering on it, and then it's going to go fly.
Oh, okay. You're worried about paint and stuff this winter, huh?
Yeah, you know how long it's going to take me to match that? It's going to take me a bit. So a buddy of mine who gave me this airplane, he wants to see it fly, and we're going to try to go flying up at Chicago. So it's September, oh man, September 2nd is Pampa Stunt, and I think the following weekend, I can't remember what date that is, that's half A.
Oh, so it's this coming weekend.
Yeah, I can't make the Pampa Stunt, but I'm taking this with me to the half A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's when I'm going to see the guy. So he's like, I don't care if it looks like crap. Which I don't know.
Tom, are you going to St. Louis in a couple of weeks?
Nope, can't make it.
Okay.
Would like to.
Well, anyway, I use that line clip bender that Jim Lee sells.
Yeah, they have one of those.
And then I made me a bunch of the clips, all different sizes, and I keep them on a key ring, and then I've just got them all numbered for
That's a great idea.
one size longer than another one. And then I just put little pieces of fuel line over the end so they don't get caught on each other through there.
Okay.
And then what I do is I'll make a note card for every plane. So this is for my Galaxy. And I write down on there what size clip I use on the up line, what size clip I use on the down line, and then which hole I put it in for sensitivity.
I want one of them handles.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Oh, all I got is a cable type, and I hate it.
Yeah, once you switch to a hard point handle, you'll never go back. You'll never want to use a cable handle again.
Well, I bought a hard point off of one of the fellas, and they used these little small eyelets, little bolt eyelets to bolt to the handle. Man, one of them eyelets broke on me.
Yeah.
So I ain't buying that I ain't doing that handle. I took that handle back, but that's like a Ted Fancher handle.
Yeah, this is a Fancher handle. You can get them they're about $30-$35.
I know, man, they're cashy.
But man, they're awesome.
Worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so then I just make a note card for every plane, and then depending on what plane I'm pulling out, it'll take you a few flights, on setting up a plane on a hard point handle to get it neutral and get it to where you like it. But then if you just write it down on a note card, and then what I do is, I wrap my own lines too, and so I'll wrap one line in brown or like a copper colored wrapping wire, and then I'll wrap the other one in red. And then I always hook the brown wire to the up line and the red wire to the down. And so as long as you hook everything up the right way and you use the same set of lines, then your neutral will never be wrong, and you won't have to figure it out every time as long as you got, something to go off of.
You're right. Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing. I use fingernail polish on the up line on both ends, and then I leave the clips on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, I leave the clips on my planes too.
So
But
and
I have a
the
handle
ones on
for
the
each
plane are
plane.
the ones that get adjusted. I never adjust anything on the handle. So the handle always remains the same. So I can use the same handle on all my planes. It's just that I needed an extra set of lines because I was in two different circles trying to fly in two different planes that use the same set of lines.
Yeah, and that's actually a good idea to just leave the clips on the plane and then just zero out the handle.
Yeah.
Then you'd never have to change it.
Yeah, it is a good system. You've got a good system going there, Jared. It obviously takes a bit of time to set up, but it's pretty foolproof by the sound of it.
Yeah. Once it takes a little time setting it up, but once you got it set up, then you can switch between planes at the field no problem, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Oh, here's the school bus. I'll come back if I can. So I'll say goodbye for now and see if I can get back after the kids are settled down.
Okay, Gerald. Thanks for coming in.
That's funny hearing the school bus coming by at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Charles, I heard you were having troubles with your stalker.
Yeah, actually, I'm waiting for it to get back here. I sent it out to Tom Dixon to take a look at it, and he went through it, and he thought that yeah, there's a little bit of wear on the connecting rod. You could see it, but he thought that it really wasn't enough to worry. And I don't think he had any in stock, anyways, any connection rod. So he thought my bearings were okay too. I sent him new Boca bearings, and ended up buying a new needle valve. He thought the needle valve I had is a Super Tiger copy. He thought that the original Super Tiger needle valve was a little bit better, and so I bought that. And he didn't really care for the glow plugs I had. He thought that with the stalker, he really needed a really hot glow plug. And his experience is that the SIG, certain SIG plug is really a better plug. So I'm buying a SIG long plug, and I should be receiving it probably. He said he'd send it out today, so I'll probably get it Wednesday or Thursday.
Which SIG plug did you say it was?
I don't know. When I get it, I'll make a note of it. I think it's probably going to still be in the package, I think. But he's always, he's a SIG distributor, so he always, he's always, giving high praise to the.
If I use SIG on my stunt engines, I always use the standard RC long. Is what I call it. I don't know the part number though.
Yeah. So, anyways, he ran the motor and he thought it was okay, and some little, so I'll get it back. And
did he make any notes specifically on what you were feeling as you turned it through top dead center and all?
I guess he didn't feel it. I guess I don't know what to say. We talked about it, and he said, "I think the motor's okay. I think there's a little bit of wear, like I said." And he said, "Just run it, So he thought it wasn't that bad. He thought that there are some motors that are worse than that,
Yeah. Did he agree that it still needed a little more breaking in?
Oh no, that was the K77.
Oh, we're talking about two different engines. Sorry.
Same plane, but yeah, the K77. That's what Al was saying. He thought it wasn't broken in enough, and I haven't had a chance to run that. I've been working on my Vector. So Dennis, I'm actually I had a Vector that I competed in beginner, our Bodak Vector R, and I'm repairing that because I think the Vector might turn a smaller maneuver than the Strega. So I just want to see, how the Vector flies in comparison, and I might bring them both to Golden State, but I'm just kind of curious to see how the Vector flies.
Nice. Speaking of glow plugs, because Thunderbolt apparently is no longer in business.
Yeah.
Anybody seen this?
Let me click on you.
MGF.
No, I've heard they were supplying those Thunder.
Yeah, I heard the same.
Yeah,
wow.
And I mean they look identical. I've tried one. They seem to be fine.
What is it? I missed it.
Does that one have an idle bar on it?
No. Let's see. Oops. Let's get it over here.
That's the Thunderbolt replacement, Tom.
It's MikeGoesFlying.com.
Mike goes.
I ordered a couple of them.
Yeah, I remember reading
try.
that.
And they seem to work fine, but I don't know if they're a true Thunderbolt or if it's just an imitation Thunderbolt.
I ordered a few Glow Devils. You can get them through Sonictronics.
Yeah.
But they're about $8 or $9 a plug. I haven't had a chance to use one yet, but I got a few of them.
The other one I haven't tried yet is the Merlin.
Yes.
I think Randy Smith mentioned these.
Hold it over in front of you some more.
Hey, listen.
There we go.
That's the Merlin 2005, huh?
Yeah.
I think Brodak sells those. Have you checked Brodak, Dennis?
They do sell Merlins, yeah.
You might want to. You might save some money. Go through Brodak.
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious on those if those plugs are true Thunderbolt plugs. I don't know. They seem to work all right though, but.
So which Thunderbolt plug do you use? I mean, which plug, MGF, which one do you use? Then?
Which one was it? He said, let's see, what was it? I can't remember what it was. It doesn't have the idle bar. I don't know. I don't see a model number on it. TB00SL.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a standard long Thunderbolt glow plug.
All right. So have you started on your plane for the Rojet?
I'm still working on the plans on the design of that one. I'm about 95% done. I like to get everything worked out to make sure that at least on the CAD side of things it all works out. And then we'll see what happens when we actually get into building it. But I should be starting on that probably. I'll probably do it after Golden State.
Yeah.
I got a building question. Anybody can answer it. I don't care. I've got several blueprints that I've gotten years. One of them is a Midas. Anybody heard of a Midas?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I remember how it looked. I remember seeing the Midas.
It's a tricycle landing gear, and it's about a 60-inch wingspan. But it's a old plane because it has the solid block top to it that you hollow out and everything. I'm not sure if the plans came from a kit and it was already hollowed out or not, but would y'all go back with the solid top block hollowed out, or extend the bulkheads and wrap it with sheeting? Form it to make it lighter.
I like making my own molds and then form it. You know, it depends on how, as long as it's not a complex compound curve. But if it's just, you know, a simple turtle deck, it's easy to make up a mold and to wrap it, you know, and mold the balsa wood.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, but I think it seemed like it'd make it a little lighter, and I wouldn't have to use the bigger engine that it calls for on it. Because to tell you how old it is, it's cut. The plans has a K&B Torpedo 45 on it.
Mm. The biggest problem using a block is finding a light one. It's very hard. The thicker the balsa, the harder it is to find light ones.
Right.
And that's where, you know, because the way I build my all my turtle decks and so forth, I actually do it with 2 pieces of a 16th inch balsa, and I sandwich in between a piece of silk span, and with white glue, and then wrap it, you know, mold it, soak it, and then wrap it around the mold, and then let it sit. And what I'm finding out is you don't need to use formers. The glue and the glue and the silk span, when it dries rock hard, and it won't lose its shape, and it's very, very strong. and it's not it's not heavy at all.
Yeah, I figured if I could wrap it or form it with the sheet, I could cut down a lot of weight and not have to use a bigger engine.
Also, can you cut that thing out of there and carve it to hollow it out?
Well, you can, but like it's saying to use a 1-inch block of balsa. I forgot what it's 2 and some odd inches wide, 1 inch thick, and the only problem with carving out balsa is if you go too thin with it, then you punched a hole through it. But I was thinking about just extending the bulkheads on it and making a jig and just forming the top.
Yeah, this is for the Gladiator. This is the mold that I made. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Yeah.
Very simple.
That's about what the shape is on that.
Yeah, and I love molding balsa. This is once I learned how to do it. I said, hey, this is the best way to. This is the way to go.
Okay, you use you soak it just in warm water.
I use Windex.
Windex.
Yeah.
Sparky does a good video on that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that. I know he had several formers that he used for a couple of planes.
There's a fairly recent one. Look at his most recent one, making the bucks for something. But I think it's the plane he's been building on here lately.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna call tonight.
All right,
okay, Jared. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
See you, Gerald.
See you later.
Take it easy, man.
Yep. Good night.
I've never built a built up body. Mine's been profile, so
yeah, me too.
It's going to be a new adventure for me.
Yeah, me too. I've never built a full.
And also, I guess I'm going to have. I need to make a vacuum chamber to form the canopy, because I mean, trying to find.
Don't you buy an assortment of canopies?
I don't know. Yeah, you can buy canopies either from SIG or from Brodax.
Yeah.
All different sizes and shapes. Excuse me, and I'm also forgetting my friend Eric Rule. Eric Rule has an assortment of canopies also.
Say hello to Eric for me.
Yeah.
In fact, on my Gladiator, this is a SIG 11-inch canopy that I used. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, yeah.
That looks good. Boy, it's blended in really nice.
Measure your length and width and match it to fit your airplane.
Yeah, and even then, you still have the ability. You can squish them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, it's easier to get one that's maybe too large and cut it down than it is if you try to get one that's too small and try to make it fit, make it bigger.
Yeah, it's hard to stretch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try that, because I know I got that airplane that I got back here. I've tried to find the name of it and I couldn't. I guess I deleted it. But the same person that I bought this plane from back here, I'm gonna buy a Nobler from them for $60 with the engine. But it's got a I don't know. It looks like a 351 Mustang canopy on it. So I'm gonna take that off and put get an Nobler canopy put back on it. And I know you can get them online easy.
Yeah.
But like I say, some of my plane, all my blueprints are probably 30, 40 years old that I've bought online and everything, and just read copies of them. But trying to find a canopy for a 40-year-old plane, I don't know what to do there. So I thought, well, I'd just make me a vacuum former and make me a dummy out of balsa wood that matches the shape of the canopy and form my own. But
that'd be a fun project anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on that, and it seems fairly easy.
When I was a teenager, I did one I tried it, and using just a vacuum cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And it just basically made a box, and a sealed box, and on the top of the box I had pegboard is what I used. And then I made the frame for the plexiglass, or for the plastic, acrylic, and just you stapled it to it, and then you put it in the oven. You waited for it to sag, and then you just took it and just
set it
put it on the other part and let it suck it on down. It wasn't that difficult, and as long as you don't have a complex shape, it's not too difficult to do.
Right. The hardest part for me would be actually shaping the canopy the way, you know.
Yeah.
I thought maybe if nothing else, just use some dense styrofoam. It'd be probably easier to shape than it would be the balsa wood.
Well, balsa wood's pretty easy to shape. That, you know.
Yeah.
Just get like Sparky does. Get some 80 grit sandpaper and have at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I forgot how aggressive you can get with sandpaper until I had to round off the nose block on my Cardinal last winter, and you can flat go to town, but you better pay attention.
You better. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
I think Sparky even used, I think, 30 grit or something like that.
I've heard him say 40 before.
40 grit, something. I mean, it just,
What did you just go out in the driveway and grab a handful of rocks?
That too, and they just put it on some tape.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah, like I say, I'm slowly going to get into building another plane. The last one I built is the one right up there. It's in 3 pieces. That Corsair that I built. This is the.
Oh, is that back on the shelf behind you?
Yeah, here's part of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It took me a year to build it and 5 minutes to crash it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Problem is, it never left the ground. The grass was too tall, and it grabbed a hold of my wires.
Oh man.
Oh, that sucks.
It flipped on me, and when it hit the ground, it just did a twist and a barrel roll at the same time and twisted it right in half.
Oh.
It's like you got 2 good pieces that ought to glue back together pretty well.
When the grass got caught on the lines, which way did the plane go? Up in the air or down to the ground?
Down. It caught my down wire.
Just curious.
It tripped it.
Yeah, it tripped it.
Yeah, but see, the thing, that plane there was actually designed for a 15. And I took the plans and took them to Kinko's and blew them up to a 42-inch wingspan and put a 35 on it. Just enlarged everything. And the wing doesn't go straight through. It's glued to each side, pegged, you know. So if I ever do another one, I'm going to build a solid wing and stick it through there. Because the wing fell off of it, too, when I dropped it.
Yeah, don't drop your plane, man.
Yeah, well, I made a bracket that goes in the back of my pickup truck. And, it's basically just a 2x4 skid with PVC ladder system on it that holds 7 airplanes.
Okay.
They set at a 45-degree angle.
Right.
So when I slide them out of the back of my pickup truck, I can just set it down, leave it resting on the tailgate, and they're just sitting there,
right,
stepped up. Well, when I pulled it out of the back of the truck, I pulled it too far, and the whole thing just fell down to the ground. And when it did, it snapped that wing off and cracked the wing on my my shoestring. So I got a hairline crack in it. I gotta put some glue in it and make sure it don't come apart on me when I'm flying.
Yeah, maybe you put some fiberglass on that too.
Something, yeah. But yeah, I got a topper and just keep them from flying around and sliding around in the back of the pickup truck. I made that rack. I got these. I made. Well, I'll get this one. This one's right here. kind of covered in dust right now, but it's just a PVC hanger.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And one side is as big as one half of the wing.
Oh, I see. Okay, very good. That works.
And then it's just got an eye bolt in the top of it, and I hang it up from a. I don't know how good that is on the wings to be hanging them like that, but that's the best way I've got to do it right now.
I was looking at one of Bob Zambelli's planes out at Triple Tree on Saturday, and I said, Bob, is that plane supposed to have dihedral in it? He said, no, it's not supposed to. I bet he'd been hanging it from the wings like that too.
Yeah.
But it had perfect dihedral. I could see the stab. It was pointed straight at me, and I could see the stab behind it. So,
kind of like the old Stukas, didn't they have a dihedral to them?
Yes, yes, they did.
This was Bob's plane. I think that was a Vampire that I was looking at.
But yeah, I've dropped that thing, and of course, it was already snapped in half, and I think I'd cracked the wing. The wing was weak on it where I flipped it and raked it, and when it hit the ground, it just jarred it enough to break loose. I think I'm just going to glue it back together and hang it up as an eyepiece and just build something else.
Yeah, just make it a garage queen.
Yeah,
I'd be afraid to fly it because I don't know how well I can get the wing glued back on.
Yeah, exactly.
It all matched back up, because it took me forever to get them lined up.
Yeah.
It's just a shame to spend all that time, and I had 3 flights out of it.
I know it's
the first flight it flew like a Ritz cracker. I think my line guide, my lead outs were wrong, so I moved them, and the engine wasn't running real good, so I run some hotter fuel in it, and that helped. But when it stopped, it's just like a regular Corsair. They got to be running 400 miles an hour to fly good, because they don't glide worth a shit.
Right.
But when it stopped, it went down. It dropped straight down and folded my landing gear back on it. And,
yeah, you might have needed some more nose weight.
It just didn't glide. It just fell right straight down, and I probably got maybe a third of a circle out of it. It just dropped real quick.
And I have a plane that does that. I can't remember which one it is, but I don't fly it, obviously.
Yeah. Like I say, this one looked a lot better than it flew.
Hey, Charles, I happened to listen to what do you call it, the Sun Hanger broadcast Friday, the replay on YouTube. And I didn't catch it all, but I caught a segment in there where Bob Hunt was telling you to build a plane.
Yes. I am. Anybody who cares about me has been saying, Charles, you got to build a plane.
So what are you going to build?
Well, I have the Thunder Gazer kit, and even Bob.
No, that's not what he said.
I know. I was going to say, he said no kits. So, but I have the plans for the Thunder Gazer. And I bought the lost phone system from Bob Hunt. Matter of fact, Bob and I was talking off the call a couple of days ago, and he was asking me the same question. And I was, I don't have hardly any money. So I already bought a lost phone system from him, for the Thunder Gazer.
All right.
I just, so I'm kind of inclined to build the Thunder Gazer from plans.
Okay.
And use the lost foam to build the wing and all that. So, yeah, that's probably what I'm going to build as far as, and then probably just keep building those planes over and over again, because Bob was telling me he also, that, you know, it really doesn't matter what the plane is. I mean, if it's a good design, you know, I mean, there's a lot of good designs out there. Find something you like, and then just build them over and over again. And so yeah, probably the Thunder Gazer.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a satisfaction I found. This weekend, I got some great satisfaction.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, with the Gladiator, you know, getting the appearance points, flying as good as it did, placing as good as it did, and so forth. And then to come back and sit there and say that is something that I built.
Yes, absolutely. Remember,
it's nothing that I bought really, but it's actually something that you built with your own hands, and there's great satisfaction in that.
All right, yeah, I told you before, I envy that satisfaction you must have when you finish your Gladiator.
Yeah.
So definitely,
yeah, I like that the satisfaction, man. I've had a lot of hand-me-down planes, you know. I love it that I build. I love building. I think I love building more than I do flying.
I don't mind building them. I hate finishing them. I don't mind flying them, but I prefer building rather than flying.
I used to not like finishing them either, but once I got myself a paint booth set up, and I got me, you know, it all set up that, boom, you know, I can do it at any given point in my house, and I don't get any fumes above and inside my house. I'm down in the basement. I just love it. Now I don't mind finishing. The only thing that's hard part for me is trying to figure out what type of scheme to use, you know?
No, that's me too. I just copy, you know, even my Nobler, with that color scheme, that's kind of a combination of when I think it was Mike Gretz had his chipmunk, the checkerboard on the bottom, the black and white checkerboard, and the red and white. That's kind of how my Nobler looks, you know. And then there was also another plane, an RC plane called the Ryan Stay. I kind of copied some elements from both those planes, but they're both very similar.
My trim colors on the Circular series, that came from Bob Hunt. Believe it or not, very similar to what he did on I can't remember. It wasn't the Caprice. I don't know which plane it was, but where he's got there's two diagonal squares basically, and then it flares on out. Yeah, I just stole that from him. I'm a big thing. I'm big on plagiarizing.
Yeah. You know, if you find something you like, it's easy to copy because you're motivated. You know, you can see how to do it. Yeah. Yeah. That one plane. I'm not sure if it's Jim Armour or was it Alan Riskman, but Alan. You know what I'm talking about? Alan up there in building at the Golden State. He has that one plane. It's purple and white. I think it's called Extreme. He built it several years ago, but he had crashed it and fixed it. But that is a beautiful plane. But that color scheme is beyond me being able to copy that. You know. But you know, so I admire that plane, but it's like, nah, I'm not gonna. That's too much busy work to copy that. But something that's kind of simple, and I probably will have a simple paint scheme as well.
If I had my choice, it'd be all one color.
When y'all do the painting and use the clear dope or the top coat, whatever, y'all brush that on, spray it, or is it in a can or what?
I spray the top coat on.
Yeah.
With airbrush, or
if I had one, I would.
Aerosol.
Yeah, rattle cans.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I take that back. Clear dope, I've been using pre-valve sprayers, but I've got a compressor now. I just got to go to Harbor Freight and get me a handle for it and a water trap and a regulator, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because the last time I used clear dope was in 1984.
Yeah, they don't make clear dope in a rattle can except for luster coat, and I'm not sure that's available anymore.
I've got some over here, but like I said, I don't know how good it is.
It's not really dope either. Urethane's good. What's Dennis got here?
This is a Harbor Freight detail gun,
That's what I need.
and they were on sale for $9.95.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them.
And I got 2 of them. I use one strictly for clear, and the other one's for color. And again, I got a little 10-gallon air compressor that I do all my spraying with.
Yeah.
Very good.
All my base coats and the clear coat that goes on top of it is all done with the spray.
So that's what I'm looking for. I've been asking about it, and people have told me, but that's the first time I've seen actually an example. And,
yeah, and this here, I think when it's just regular price is like $13, $13 or $14.
yeah,
I don't know why it's so cheap, but I have this one, I have the airbrush, and then I have the larger 20-ounce sprayer. But this one, to me, does the best.
you call it a detail gun, but you can spread a wide wing in that kind of area, right?
Oh, for planes, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I got, and I've never used.
What's that?
Mine's the what is it? HV, high velocity, low volume, whatever.
Oh, I have several of those too, Eddie. Yeah, I have like 3 of those.
Yeah, so that way you don't have to put as much in there, and you can use the lower volume air. But I've never used it.
I think Sparky uses about 15 pounds of air.
Yeah, it don't.
Yeah, I try to use the least amount of air pressure that I can get through the gun.
Right.
And I have a regulator at the gun. I also have a regulator on my system. But I get that regulator, and I try when I spray it, and I just drop it down, and it probably drops about 12 to 13 pounds is what it actually sprays at.
Right. Now, do you when you mix your or spray your top or your clear coat, is it mixed 50-50 straight or what?
No, I used the certified clear dope from Aircraft Spruce, and I mixed that 4-to-1, 4 parts thinner to 1 part dope.
Okay, because I was just going to get whatever Brodak, get back into the dope and stuff like that with the silk span, just so I can paint my own schemes. I'm getting tired of using the monocoat and monocoat. Everything's, body's one color, wings another color, and I'm wanting to go back.
I know what you mean. I like the paint. I got out of the monocoating too.
But I guess really it doesn't matter what you put the as far as your color goes, as long as your clear coat doesn't is still compatible with it, right?
Yeah, and I run the butyrate dope on all mine. Some use the nitrate dope for sealing and to get the base set up to get the wood grain filled and so forth. Get the silk span filled. Then they come back after that and they use the butyrate because the nitrate's not fuel proof.
All right. Okay.
Nitrate's supposed to stick better though. It's good for getting that initial tack and putting it to stick
So
onto
you
the
use
silk.
the nitrate to put the silk span down, and then paint with the butyrate.
Well, and you fill the silk span with the nitrate too.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when you go to your base colors, then you use your butyrate.
Okay.
Eddie, you're talking.
I use butyrate on everything. I don't like mixing different types of paint.
Now, one you can put one over the other, right?
Right. You can put butyrate over nitrate. You don't want to go the other way around.
Okay. I have to remember that.
But a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to finishing of the plane, especially with the clear coat, people try to get and you really want to when you spray it on, you want it to go on where it flows very nicely, and you try to avoid the orange peel, but that's very difficult to do. At least I've had a very difficult time trying to do that. You get orange peel somewhere because you'll get some overspray on certain areas.
Right.
And so on the clear coat that I use, the certified clear coat is a very hard dope when it dries. And so it's nice to get off. It takes the overspray. You can rub that out with like 2,000 grit sandpaper, and then you just come back and buff it, and you have no problem.
Hey, we got somebody new on YouTube. Charles Bovalis, and says, "Hey guys, Sparky, love watching your videos and recently discovered the live sessions, and so now he's just sitting back watching us. But he's actually noticed a big difference when using nitrate as a first coat. Better, he says, better stickability, better sealing. You can see the difference than butyrate on top. So that agrees with what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He says butyrate on top, not the other way around.
Yeah, didn't Sparky say something about adding a drop of castor or something?
He adds a drop of castor to his
some sort of oil to it to keep it elastic.
Yeah, a drop of castor to his clear. I don't know if he does it in his colors or not.
Right. Well, the colors, yeah, but you don't want that color to start with a clear coat to crack.
Right. Yeah, and apparently that keeps it flexible.
Yeah.
My battery's dying on my phone, so I got to go.
All right, Dennis. See you later, man.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, buddy.
You were talking about canopies before, and it's rough, but it's a plaster mold. I had a ME 109 all behind me over there, buried one model back, but whenever I landed it inverted, the canopy kept breaking. The canopy's so old it's gone brittle. So I thought I'll make up a mold. I'll stick the canopy together with sellotape, and then I'll make up a mold of plaster of Paris so I can mold a new canopy. But I've done that before with other models, molded canopies. On Princess model I've got over there on the other wall, I molded my canopy using plaster of Paris as the mold. But yeah, I've done it with balsas a bit soft, and I think if you try to do a canopy with foam, you'd find by the time you start heating it and forming your plastic over it, it would distort.
Yeah.
Traditionally people use like pine or something to do the canopy mold, something a bit harder. But it's all fun and games.
If I can find something, just measure the canopy, and it really doesn't have to be the same exact one in the picture, because if nobody's seen a 45-year-old, 50-year-old plane, then they won't know if it's got the right canopy on it or not.
Some of these old guys got pretty good memory, but really, unless you're going for the front row at the Nats, just put something that looks good on it.
Yeah, I just want it to fly. I don't give a crap if it. I'm not going for competition.
I've got an Oriental canopy that I cut the back off of, and it fits perfectly on my Nobler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some of the guys we fly with. Ron Cornelius that Mike was talking about. He had a what was it, Oriental.
Yeah.
And crashed it, and had a Nobler and crashed it. I think he ended up taking the wings off the Oriental and putting it in the Nobler body, and had him an Oriobler or something, whatever. But so yeah, we don't care what they look like as long as they fly.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Charles over on YouTube says that linseed oil works too, 1% to the nitrate or butyrate mixture.
Oh,
okay.
Said it makes it more fuel proof too.
I put linseed oil on all my construction equipment, shovels, handles, wooden handles, sledgehammer handles. Boy, linseed oil is good oil.
I remember him saying he said he put something in there to keep it elastic, so it doesn't get.
That was it. He said castor. I remember what you're talking about, and he did say castor, but
Jared took notes. I remember Jared was on the show one night when he went through that with Sparky.
Charles suggested linseed, some other oils work too.
I guess you just got to experiment on how much you put in there.
Charles says 1%. Sparky says a drop.
Yeah.
Now, 1% is a lot more of an accurate description than a drop. A drop doesn't sound like 1% either. A drop sounds a lot smaller than that.
I think he said he puts 1 drop per ounce or something, however many ounces he mixes.
Yeah, maybe he did.
I mean, it depends on how much you mix up as to how much.
Yeah, right.
You know, of course, now, okay, once you mix it up, how long will it keep? That's another thing. You know, if you put it in a mason jar with a good tight lid on it, will it keep to your next build? Or once you mix it, do you have to throw it out after you're done?
I bet it keeps.
Yeah, I leave it in a jar, and the only thing is if the jar's not well sealed, it loses all the thinner, and you've just got to thin it down to the same consistency next time. But you go through a lot more thinner by leaving it in a jar because invariably the seal's not as good.
Yeah, every time I open a jar, I have to add a little bit of thinner.
Yeah, it's going to escape. It don't matter what you got it in. I know you don't want to mix it in your main can. You want to mix it something else.
Yeah. Well, preserving jars because they've got a nice wide top of preserving jar, and you can get any size brush in it easily. But, if I'm going to pour it into a spray gun, then I prefer to have a narrower neck jar so it's easier to pour it into a spray gun. So depending on whether you're using a brush to dope on your tissue or whatever, or if you're spraying.
Yeah, the last time I used that stuff, there wasn't we didn't have spray guns. It was I can't remember the name of it wasn't luster coat, but it was what was it was something coat like luster monocoat or something like that. It was came in the little like 1 ounce bottles.
Testers comes in little 1 ounce bottles.
Yeah, it was something like that. But that, like I said, that was back in the 80s when last time I used it.
What you drying over there, Tom?
Right, it's got its Michael. He was standing before. I think he turned his mic off a while back, and he
or took his earplug out. I don't know. Giving it the gentle touch there. I don't have a monocoat iron. I use a paint stripper with a snorkel on the end of it. I form to make a jet, which makes it even more dangerous.
Wow.
It'll flat make monocoat pop though. Wham! It'll jump tight faster than you can get it with that heat gun.
Wow, that does sound pretty dicey.
I don't use it. I only use the iron when I put monocoat on a wing.
Yeah, that's
I use a heat gun, but I put it on low setting and hold it back farther away.
Yeah.
That's I tack it down with the iron, but then to tighten up the voids, between the ribs, I'll just run a quick iron the gun over it. But
I use the iron for that too. I do over and under as I go down the wing.
Yeah. Hold it too long, you'll redoing it.
Yeah.
It'll shrink it up in a heartbeat.
Well.
Monocoats adhesion temperature and gluing temperature are very close to each other, so you got to be careful.
What do you think?
But if you can watch the color change as you put the iron over it, then you can kind of gauge what's happening.
That looks good, man.
Yeah, I mean, at this, it looks pretty straight in through there.
Is that silk span or?
Yeah, it's just silk span. But hey, I get a couple coats on that, dude, and I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, you will.
Looks good.
I know it ain't perfect, but hey.
Hey, it might fly better than it would have. I was going to say better than it did before, but
I don't know. It don't look too bad.
That doesn't look too bad at all, man.
Yeah, one of the guys that flies.
How long did it take me? That's from start to finish, from gluing everything back and putting silk span on.
I'll have to look back and tell you what time you came in. Hang on. Let's see. When did Tom Creasy come in? Tom? Oh, it doesn't have timestamps on it. What?
Oh.
I don't know.
You was on. Yeah, I think you was on when I came on. I came on just a little after 9. So.
Yeah, I heard you guys saying something about using the heat gun. What I was doing, was that what got the conversation?
Yep.
Afraid that it was gonna just like tweak.
Yeah, I never used a heat gun on that silk span. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I do. Like right now, it's damp. It's still a little damp, but you got to be careful with it. You can. I just try to evaporate the water out of it mainly.
Okay. Okay.
See, so that way I can see where I'm at, because see, I had just a little tiny little soft spot in there, and as soon as I got a little heat on it, that thing just went away. So
You got a guy out there we fly with when he fly.
I tell you what, I'm not gonna get this thing out and set it on the ground by any chairs.
Yeah, sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, he would patch his with the monocoat, and every patch he put on it, he'd take a marker and put dots on it like it was rivets, like they riveted on a panel on the side of the plane or something.
That's an interesting idea.
Patching up the bullet holes.
I've had some hanger rashes before, but this one here was a big one.
That was.
I got one right up here that I had a hole put in it. My son threw a dart through it. I got a dartboard on this side of the wall, and he was back just a little too far and got happy with the dart and sent a dart through the wing.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just cut me out a square and.
Yeah, but it wasn't a chair leg.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Didn't bust no ribs. It just busted the paper.
Before I get done tonight, I'll have to take a picture of it and send it to my buddy.
Yeah, you will. You gotta wear that gilt.
I've been working on this thing every night for 2 hours since you did it.
There you go. Yeah.
And I've got it this far.
Yes, that's good.
Hell, that's been what, Charles? And Gerald? March? No, May. It was May,
Yes,
wasn't it?
wow. I remember you working on that. I remember you painting it and everything. A lot of work.
Oh, the stencils?
Yes.
That was the Stuka time, wasn't it?
Yeah, aren't there stencils on that too?
Yeah, I decided to just, hey, I might as well make the stencils. I might as well do something a little different.
Yeah, I remember you had stencils on that too. Yeah.
Yeah, this paint job cost me $1.50.
Man, you need to write an article on how to do that.
What'd you clear coat it with?
Non-tautening clear dough.
So it's just borrow dope over the top then.
Yeah, butyrate, non-tautening clear dough.
Yeah, because what is it? The nitrate or that continues to shrink over lifetime?
Well, I made my own decals. Like this one, I took this off of a picture off of an airplane, a real airplane, the nose art of a real airplane, and made this decal.
Yeah, that's really
That
neat.
decal is printer ink. That's as thin. It's very, very, very thin. You can't feel it. But I didn't want to. I don't know. I had a whole gallon of non-tautening, and everyone says that, well, them decals wrinkle when you clear coat it. And I asked him, I said, well, is it taunting or non-taunting clear dope you use? And they go, well, I don't know. Got to check. And it was taunting clear dope, butyrate dope. So I'm like, well, okay. I got a whole gallon a guy give me of non-taunting. So
Right.
I was like, hey, it's there. I might as well use it, right?
Right. You know, honest.
I'm not a pro. I mean, you know, come on. I'm using $1.50 paint. Come on. But I mean, at least I'm not embarrassed when I go to the field. That's all I care about.
They look good, man. They look good.
But
Now, is the bottom of that, is it white or a light blue?
no, it's China Sea is the name of it. Now this is a whole different scheme. This is a Crusader scheme. This was really kind of fun to do, actually.
Okay, another quick question. Is that a styrofoam cooler you got that sitting on?
Yep. Yep. Sure is.
Yeah, okay, that works.
Yep. Yeah, it's the old LA. This did have a Merlin in it. It was set up for a pipe when the guy gave it to me. But you know what was really cool was this LA hopped right up in there. I mean, not looking too bad. These are my swap meet wheels I got for $1.
Yeah, they look neat. Give it a scale.
Off-road tires, huh?
Yeah. I didn't have a matching, you know, this is my first tricycle. And then here's some other decals on the back there.
That looks good.
But anyway, this is a fix on this side.
Good. Yeah.
I think it'll fly.
Yeah, I think it'll
Yeah, that'll fly. That ain't gonna stop it from flying.
No.
I can't wait to report. I can't wait.
I'll fly a hole in the wing, that and will fly.
But you know, you want it as close as possible because I know this thing. I don't know. This thing was probably going to be pretty touchy. You think?
I don't know.
I've never flown a Charles Mackey Crusader.
As long as your 3G is basically right, I can't see why it would be difficult.
And you said that
Well, there's one thing about this Crusader that not very many guys did. In fact, I seen one other guy do it, and it's completely different. But I put these on.
Oh,
This ain't even supposed to be here.
that's a nice touch.
You know, I just kind of figured when you look at the whole thing.
Yes, that's
You
a nice
know.
touch.
Do you know how hard it was to put that on?
That sounds like it'd be very hard.
Yes, it was. It looks like nothing, but I
looks
had
like
the old incident meters are going, that's for sure.
Does that have a center flap on it?
Excuse me?
Does it have a center aileron?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a flap.
Flap, yeah.
Yep. And I'm probably going to have problems because the flap, when the elevator's level, the flap is just a hair up. Now, on this gobble swat, how in the hell you got to bend it? How in the hell are you going to change that? You can't, all the push rods and everything, everything's over here on this outboard wing.
Yeah.
That's where the bell crank is. Over here on this outer boom.
Yeah, you got to just probably adjust at the handle. That's all. But most likely will just turn a little bit faster on outsides.
Yeah, I hope it's. Well, we really don't want it to fly fast, right?
No, I mean quicker. It'll turn quicker on outside.
Yeah. So
not faster, but quicker.
The faster it goes, the more squirrely it would be, right?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of quality, that's the only other thing. Like the Tom Luciano posted the article about doing high speed F2B patterns with the combat model. And talked about doing a pattern in 2.5 minutes. They cut out some of the laps and they only did 2 laps inverted, but that sounded really exciting. High speed.
What's the wingspan on that?
On this gobble spawn?
Man,
I think it's 56. I can't remember. Maybe it's 54.
I like that.
Oh man, I first saw it. My buddy's hanging on the wall, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is awesome!" I tell you, that's exactly how I put it, boy. I said, "Man, this is freaking neat." I told him, I said, "Man, why ain't you got this thing going?" And he goes, "Well, the only way I can get this thing going is I just give it to you." And I'm like, "No way, really?"
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. So he's the one that's going up to the Chicago Half A show or event. Okay. So I'm gonna take it and fly it. That'll be probably the first time I'll fly it.
Are you guys?
I'm gonna have to sign out tonight.
Yeah, I'm getting tired too.
It's getting late. But,
hey, and I'm done. I'm cleaning up my brush and I'm out of here.
I'm gonna get in touch with Steve McBride and get him hooked up with us. He's thinks he was a former member of Stunt Hanger, so I'll do a member search, see if I can get him hooked up with Sparky and approved.
Yeah, Steven and Ruben, his dad.
And what?
His dad is Ruben. Get his dad also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steven.
And let's see, there was somebody else too. I forgot now. I'll look down the chat box list and see. But Charles Bovalis. I'm sorry, Charles. I hate it when I mispronounce names. Bovalis. Anyway, we'll see you next time too, I hope. So anyway, y'all all have a great week, and we'll come back and do it again on Friday. And I'm gonna turn my video of me flying on. I'm gonna turn those videos of me flying into a movie. So if I can get it to screen share, I'll show it to you. It's don't expect anything too spectacular, of course, but I didn't fall down and I ran the tank of gas out. So hey,
that's great.
Yeah, but
I have my new plane Friday, the Nobler, so hopefully it'll look pretty good. It looks pretty good in the pictures. I haven't seen it yet, so
yeah.
$60, it's worth that.
That is. All right, well, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, see y'all later. Fair winds, tight lines. See you later. Good night.
Later.
Good night. See you.
Good night.